All right, everyone, welcome to the podcast again. Today we have Tenina Bernard. She is not from Utah, but she moved here a few years ago, and I would love everyone to meet her. A few things I know about Tenina is she's Julian's wife, who was on here a few weeks ago, and she also has a lot of talents and interests, and we want to learn about them today, but also thank you for coming on, Tenina, and I think I'll have you introduce yourself to everyone now. So who are you, where do you live, kind of, that sort of thing.
All right, thanks for having me, Jordan. So I'm Tenina Bernard. I live in Oak Vista.
Okay.
And we've lived here. We moved here January of what year is it? 2024? 2023. I don't know. We moved here January 2023, so we're kind of inching towards 2 years up here.
It's been 2 years now.
It's been almost 2 years, yep.
Wow. So, obviously Suncrest is a unique place.
Yeah.
You're not from here.
No.
So, bring us up to speed. Where are you from? Like, where did you grow up?
Yeah, so I was a military brat. So the where did you grow up question is like, it's easy to answer because I grew up in California.
Okay.
But it's also kind of weird, right? I wasn't born in California. I was born in Arizona. My dad was Air Force, so we lived in Arizona for a couple years, moved to England, lived there for a few years. Yeah, and then...
Wait, you moved to England?
Yeah.
Did I know that?
I don't know if
I
you
don't
knew
think
that.
I knew
You
that.
might not have known that.
Okay,
Yeah.
go on. How old were you when you moved to England?
So I was like 2 or 3 when we moved to England. So I was a toddler, right? But I was like right at that sweet spot where you're like learning how to talk. So we lived in England for a few years and then moved back to America, moved back to the States and moved to California. And I was like this little toddler with a British accent.
You had a British accent
I had a
when you were
British accent when I was a toddler because I
How
lived
old
in
were you
England.
when you moved back to California?
Right about 5.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know this.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in this. So,
Yeah.
So your parents worked as military. And,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So my mom is German.
She is still German.
She's still German. She is a German citizen. She is German. She's legal. She's got a green card. But
Get out of here.
But she's a German citizen, right? So she came to the States, went to BYU, and then moved back to Germany. And my dad was in the military, and so he was stationed in Germany. And they met through church out there, and
Really?
yeah.
So she knew English already, moved to the States. What did she study?
She studied costume design.
Costume design? Really?
Yeah.
And then she moved back to Germany.
And then she moved back to Germany. She worked at a theater in Germany.
Wow.
Making these like fabulous costumes. Super talented.
Does she still make costumes?
And occasionally, so she's a teacher now.
Okay.
But like I grew up dancing, so I was doing ballet, and she did a lot of our costumes for ballet, right? Every Halloween I had the coolest costume because it was made literally by a costume designer.
So the lady I was talking to at your house when I was there, your mom, is German.
Yeah.
Like 100%
Like 100% German. My whole family lives in Germany still.
But she had no accent. She spoke perfect English.
Yeah. She's a perfectionist.
Really?
Yeah. She's also, she's lived in the States for a long time.
Yeah.
Since I was 5. So what is that? How old am I? 30 years now she's lived in the States?
25 years old
Exactly.
now.
She's lived here for 5 years. That's it. I'm a child. So she's lived in the States for a long time. She teaches, right? And I remember when she started teaching, it was really important to her to.
So she teaches, like what grade, is it grade school or is it like?
Yeah, she does special education for 2nd through 4th grade.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how long she's been doing that for? We're talking about just
Forever.
your mom now.
Yeah, now we're just talking about my mom. She doesn't even live here. It's fine. She's been doing that, since I was in school. So for a long time. She worked as an aide for a long time. And then the teacher that she was an aide for retired, and she was like, you know what? I'm a little nervous because she had a really good connection. They were great friends.
Yeah.
And she was like, man, who's the new teacher that's going to come in? That's scary, right? When you've been doing something for a long time.
Yeah.
And she was like, hey, hold on. What if I just become a teacher? So she went back and got her degree in education because she had the degree in costume design. You can't be a teacher with that. So she went back and got her, did all the schooling to be a teacher. And
that's fascinating. So the reason I'm digging so deep into that because that's so unique. Having a German mother.
Yeah.
You look around, how many people have foreign parents? There's people who do.
Right.
but it's not common, right?
Yeah.
So how is that? Did that shape how you grew up?
Oh, absolutely.
So what was the biggest thing that stands out to you if people were like, prying or asking?
I mean, we went to Germany a lot,
Yeah.
right? So to go visit the family. And then there's just this, like, I have a love for the German culture, right? Because I mean, I identify with that. That's kind of my home away from home. I miss Germany. Like, I get homesick for Germany.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you speak German?
Yeah.
Like fluently?
It depends on who you ask, right? If you ask Julian, he's going to be like, man, she's perfect. Her German is spot on. She's fluent.
Like, can you walk into Germany and like find the bathroom, find the gas station, and then also
I would say I've got conversational skills, right? So my writing is lacking. I'm not a great writer in German.
Yeah.
Same with reading. I can kind of understand sort of, but there's going to be some words where I'm like, wait, what? What is
Yeah.
that? But like conversationally, yeah. I can
And like that's a big part of your identity is
Yeah.
that German, like you're German.
Yeah.
Really. So when you moved to England, that must have interrupted the I mean, you weren't living in Germany when you were in California.
So I've never actually lived in Germany,
Because
right?
your parents were in California.
Right.
So you were born in California.
So no, so I was born in Arizona.
That's right.
Yep.
Arizona, then California.
Went to
Yeah.
England, lived there for a few years, but that was all military, right? That had
Yeah.
nothing to do with the German side. That was just where my dad was getting stationed with the Air Force. So we lived in England for a few years and then moved to California. The field my dad is in, there's really only a couple of Air Force bases that really do that. He does logistics tests. And so...
Logistics tests?
Yeah.
So he's like a brainiac in there. Like
yeah,
looking
so
at-
he's in there making
Okay.
sure that everything with the airplanes is doing what it's supposed to do.
So
I
you have
guess.
two parents that are perfectionists, it sounds
Yes.
like. Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds easy.
And I'm type B, so here we are.
So are you a perfectionist yourself?
I don't know. I don't know what I am. Yes.
Yeah?
Like if something's not, if I don't do something perfectly, listen, the people around me, I'm like, it's fine. Have grace. Give yourself a break. It's all good. But for myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, everybody's going to like think I'm lame, that this wasn't perfect. I better be perfect. So then I do have that. But like if you go to my house, it's a hot mess. So I don't really know where I'm applying this perfectionism to somewhere.
Well, I'll say, so if you don't know this, she has a incredible wreath making business that she runs herself. We bought a wreath from her, and it's perfect. It is
thank you.
absolutely perfect. It's like a Halloween wreath, and I've never seen anything as good as this. We put it up every single year, and I was like, oh, she's a perfectionist, because I didn't know that until we bought it.
Yeah.
And I got it. I was like, this looks like I bought it from a store, but better,
Yeah.
So like it comes out, and I think when you're making stuff.
That's
Right?
I
Yeah.
think that's probably true.
Yeah.
I love to like do crafty things. I probably got that from my mom. I don't sew like she does.
But so what?
But
right?
so what? No pun intended. So I like to craft though. I like to kind of make things and yeah.
So tell me about this
definitely comes out there.
crafting thing. So
Yeah.
you picked this up from your mom, or you picked it up more on your own? Because it's like there's a lot of different. There's a whole range of crafting.
I mean, it's a whole I think both. I think I've watched my mom for so long just make these beautiful creations, and I was just always in awe. Like she made these. I said I did ballet, right? And she made our costumes. We did the Nutcracker ballet, and she made the rat costumes, and they're the most phenomenal rat costumes I've ever seen. I have seen so many ballet performances of the Nutcracker ballet, like the best companies, and every time I'm like, great costumes, but man, those rat costumes, they're lacking. And it sounds ridiculous, but I'm so for real.
this is
They were
good.
amazing.
Your review, it was great, but there was something lacking in the rats.
But you should hire my mom.
The rats were not ratty enough.
They were not ratty
What
enough.
makes a good rat costume?
Listen, we had not rat fur. Okay, that sounds bad.
We killed a lot of rats.
We killed a lot of rats. No, we had this fur from these like furry fabric costumes, right? It was in our house for like years.
Where is this
It
going?
was just a joke. It was like in our house for years. We're like, oh my gosh, it's still there. But anyways, whatever. The point is, this is a day in the life with Tenina. The point is, she made these super cool costumes, and I like have never forgotten it. She's like, and so I watched her for years make these amazing things.
Right. She like sewed them and everything.
She sewed them. She made them from scratch, right? And I mean, we're talking like design and up. So I remember she just sat there for the longest time going, okay, how do you make a rat head? And like, how do you put it on a dancer so that they can still dance, but also they look like they're this character?
Yeah.
And how do you put all of this together to create something that's going to work?
Yeah.
That looks real, that's functional, that's going to be from the audience, it's going to make sense, right?
This sounds so German. Like, how do I engineer this it functions properly?
Perfectly. So it's functional and it looks good, right?
Like
Same
a
thing
clock.
with literally like a clock, like a car.
Yeah.
Same thing with like the tail, right? The tail was a whole thing because it's got to have the tail. Everybody thinks about a rat. You're going to think about the tail because it's gross.
Yes.
So it's like,
I think
how
about
do
rats
I?
often, so yes.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. I figured. So, right, same thing. It was like, how do I make this, all the things, look good, functional, so that it's doing what you want it to do, so that it's having this effect on stage. And I remember her sitting there just thinking about this for the longest time. And then once she came up with ideas, she would get so excited. And she was like, oh, I got this idea.
Yeah.
And then she would create it. And she'd be like, what do you guys think? And we're like, yeah, it's amazing. And so I watched her do this. And I was like, well, I can't do that. So that is freaking cool that you can do it, but that's not me.
When you were a kid, you thought,
But
I
as a
can't.
kid,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, no kid can do that.
No, I mean, no, of course not.
Yeah.
But I just was like that. I don't think my brain works like that. And so I kind of just, I think myself took a step back. She was always like, come on, I'll teach you. And no pressure with it, right? It wasn't like, you have to do this and it has to be perfect. It was just like, I'd love to teach you. You could do it.
Yeah.
I'd love to teach you. And I was like, yeah, that's too
So you
intimidating.
said your brain
hard
doesn't work
pass.
that way. How does your brain work? Like, do you understand it now?
I
Like,
think I
today?
understand it better
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And I probably could now sit down and do maybe something sort of similar. But I don't have the interest in sewing, so I just do it in different ways.
Yeah.
Right. So now my thought is, how can I make this look the most realistic, and what can I do? And so I look around. I'm like, what do we have? What are some things that I could just? Oh wait, I could do this, and it might be something that's makes no sense or seems weird. And when I start putting things together, my kids are like, what? That doesn't make sense. What are you doing? And I'm like, just shh, trust me.
Just wait. Trust the process.
Trust me.
Let me cook. Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't
Yeah,
work, right?
yeah, yeah.
But then you learn from it, and then.
So you're not afraid of failure. I mean, you're not afraid of trying things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've experimented with different mediums.
Absolutely.
So crafting is a safe space to experiment.
Absolutely.
So you've done a lot of different types of things. What are your favorite things in the crafting realm that you've got in your hand? You seem to be a hands-on person.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are those things that you're getting your hands, you're messing around with? I know wreaths is a big one.
So wreaths is a big one. To be honest, what it comes down to for me is I enjoy the process of kind of puzzling over this thing, creating something that then the end product is like cool, it's pretty, it's fun.
Right.
And then having that something give somebody else joy. So that to me, like, if it's just gonna sit there and nobody cares about it, then I'm like, this was a waste of my time. I don't even like whatever. I want it to bring somebody joy. And that's what it comes down to. And so, right, obviously the wreaths, door signs, I've been making door signs too, and that's a lot of fun. I made, so I'm still dancing. I'm not ballet anymore. I'm doing Irish dance now.
Irish. Why Irish, by the way?
Because my daughter.
Okay.
She wanted to dance, and I didn't want to push her into what I had been doing.
Which was
ballet.
Ballet.
And so I mean, I haven't done ballet in a while, right? But that was my life. That was everything for me, was ballet growing up. And so when she said, I want to dance, I was like, okay, well, there's a lot of different types of dance. So we just showed her videos of every single kind of dance we could think of.
Really?
And she was dead set on Irish.
How old is she now?
She's 4.
4 years old.
Yeah.
So when did she start dancing, Irish dancing?
A year ago, when she was 3. Yeah.
So she's probably pretty good now.
I mean, she's probably gonna go pro tomorrow, but heard it here first.
You're like, yeah, we've already got a college picked out
It's
for
fine.
it.
Yeah, no, she's
Our
won all the
retirement's banking on
competitions.
this. We have no chance but her to get.
This is it. We're relying on this. She's a lot of fun. I will say she's the most popular person in our little dance studio.
Really?
We went to swim lessons not too long ago, and this lady was walking past us, and she was like, "Oh, hey, how are you?" And I'm going, "Oh, good." She thinks I'm somebody else. Good. How are you? Just keep going. And then she was like, "Oh," she saw that I could not place her, and she went, "Oh, sorry. We know you from dance." Well, Layla. We know Layla from dance.
Yeah.
And then she didn't even have a kid in Layla's class. She just was like, she's just the most popular person. We all know who she is and we love her.
But you said you dance as well?
So I dance as well. So
Yeah,
she was dancing, And everybody at the studio, it used to actually be an adult troupe. And
Really?
they said, yeah. And so they said, you know, if you have dance experience and you like to dance, you should come dance. And I was like, yeah, not Irish dance experience.
Yeah. Did it translate though? So you do ballet, which is really classical.
Yeah.
It's like it's strict.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing Irish dance is culturally strict as well to a certain degree.
To
So
a
did it
certain degree,
translate
yeah.
over?
Some parts of it do. I think understanding the basic gist of the different types of movement and understanding, like, kind of memorizing the choreography, understanding how the steps go, right, putting things together. I think for that, like, those things come easier to me.
Right, because you've done it. And
Yeah.
your whole life was that.
Yeah, I have years of experience with that.
And 1 and 2 and...
Exactly. I can count the music. I can understand that if you're saying put my foot in front, how to put my foot in front, right?
Yeah.
And so I think for those things, yeah, they've definitely will tease me and say,
Yeah.
hey, Tenina, you look like a ballet dancer. And when you combine ballet and Irish, you're starting to look like you're a cowboy up there.
It's a jig. Well, it's Irish jig. Isn't it jigging?
It's a jig, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
isn't jigging, isn't square dancing kind of like Irish dancing though?
Yeah, I mean, for
it's
sure,
kind of the
right? So
same.
there's like,
Yeah.
I mean, I was at class yesterday and we were literally doing these, they said it's the square and we're going in a square.
Right, right.
In our little couples and yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have a deep passion for dance still.
Yeah.
You craft still significantly.
So that's where that
yeah.
even all came from was just
Yeah.
I made part of a costume for our last show, and for one of the dances I wasn't even in it. It was for some of the other dancers, and it was that same thing to me. It was totally different, right? It was a hat, it was a beanie that I was making for
Not
these
a rat
dancers.
head, but
Not
a
a rat head. This was a dragon head, actually. It's fine. This is my life. It was a dragon head, but. It was that same feel of, I mean, I sat there and struggled, and I get mad when I'm crafting. Julian's like, do you actually like to do this? Does this
You
make
get mad while you're
Oh, I
crafting?
get mad. I get so frustrated. It's not doing what I want it to do, and I get so
Interesting.
frustrated. Yeah.
So you sit down, you're not mad, then you start crafting and anger.
I don't like actually, it's not like anger, right?
Okay.
It's more frustration. I think that it's not working exactly the way I want it to. It's not perfect. It's not looking right.
Okay.
This didn't do what I wanted. I get frustrated, but then when it's finished, it's like, haha.
The hot glue's burning your
did it.
hands.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's almost like a place to project and safely let off steam, maybe.
Probably. Yeah.
And then there's also kids roaming around, so if they get in the...
I love it.
That's fascinating. So beyond wreaths and dancing, the
Yeah.
crafting realm, to
Yeah.
kind of beautiful picture there. What are you currently really interested in that space? Is there something you've been diving into head first, or you've been doing for a while that you're getting better and better at? Less angry at?
Less
maybe?
angry at? I mean, within that realm, or just generally,
Or just is there anything that's catching your interest?
That's catching my
Yeah.
interest. Yeah, so I've been really focused. I've been teaching a nature class, and that's kind of where I've been putting a lot of my focus into that right now.
Is it the Tinker Garden?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's Tinker Garden.
So Tenina has a class she hosts up here. We
Yeah.
took our kids to it, and it's called Tinker Garden, and it's like kindergarten. I mean, I kind of understand it loosely, but tell us what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tinker Garden, kind of just as a foundational level, it's for kids,
Okay.
right? And we're talking 18-month-olds all the way. I think my oldest kid right now was 7 that I have enrolled. And it is a nature class. It's a play-based nature class for
these kids.
for little ones, just like you. So it's a play-based nature class. And so we're outside. The whole point is that the class is always going to be outside. We're using nature. We're definitely
Okay.
bringing other things in to play with as well. And Tinker Garden itself has changed a lot. Over the past few months, really. But it's something that you could think of like before when people talk about like Montessori school or a Waldorf school. Tinker Garden is just another kind of one of those, another way of learning, basically.
So it gives kids that it's out of a building. It's in nature.
It's in nature, so you're outside.
Are you hosting these up in Suncrest?
Yeah.
And if so, where and how can people find it if they want to do it? Like, how could I get Dan?
Get Dan
Yeah.
into it. So I'm doing them at Maple Hollow Trailhead Park.
Okay.
I do it twice a week. I've got a Tuesday class and I've got a Wednesday class. And we do them seasonally. So I have not been doing a winter season. I probably won't do a winter season.
Okay.
Mainly because you know how the snowbanks get up here, and I'm concerned that we're going to lose like our little Dans. They're going to walk into the snowbank, and then we're not going to be able to play and have fun because we're going to be like, shoot, Dan's in the snowbank. Where is he?
Yeah, it's 12 feet of snow again.
It's 12 feet of snow. We can't find Dan. But so it's a seasonal thing. So right now we're in our fall season, and I've got an Instagram page, Alpine Junior Explorers, and that's what we're called, Alpine Junior Explorers. Again, there's been a lot of changes. So we've gone from Tinker Garden to this name, but we're still using the Tinker Garden method.
So Tinker Garden's like a franchise, and there's materials, you were using them, but now you're starting your own kind of solo venture with the methodology of outside teaching.
Exactly.
That's great. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because we had Nate in it, who's our oldest, and he loved it. I mean, he learned a ton there.
It was so fun.
And he probably was running off, trying to, whatever.
That's what they do. They all do. It's fine.
But what drew you to that? So like you found that on your own. You pursued it on your own.
Yeah.
What made you pursue that?
So when we lived in California still, I was taking my son. So my son he's 8 years old now.
Okay. I
have 3 kids.
3 kids?
Yep.
Okay.
I've got an 8-year-old, I have a 4-year-old, and I have a 2-year-old.
I'm pretending I don't know this.
I know. It's all right. 1 boy, 2 girls. You should meet them sometime. They're great.
Yeah. I should, yeah.
So, Dan would probably like them. So I've got my 3 kids, and Brody is my oldest. And when he was younger, when he was my only child, still, right, there was a 4-year span in there, I was looking for a mommy and me class. That's actually what was happening. I was looking for a mommy and me class.
Yeah.
And in California, there's a lot less of that kind of stuff than there is here in Utah, especially where we were at. And then what did exist just didn't really it didn't fit the bill. It didn't fit what I was looking for.
What were you looking for specifically at that point?
I was looking for something where I was going to be able to kind of be engaged with him, where we're going to be doing stuff together, and maybe where it wasn't always necessarily the same. So a lot of what I found was like at the gym. And
at the rec center or something.
Not even rec centers. It was really like they had like the little people gym or whatever it's called. Is that what it's called? I don't know. There was like some gym for like little kids. I don't know. And so that was a lot of what I found, and it was really more about the kids running around and playing than it was about this one-on-one interaction, or not even necessarily one-on-one, but this interaction between me and the kid.
Right.
And I wanted something where we were going to be able to interact with each other, and I wanted something where I don't know, where I just felt like we were going to be able to not just run and get energy out, but where we were going to be able to maybe learn together or sing together. Yeah. Just do something where I felt like we were bonding through this experience. And I couldn't find anything. Your oldest son. This was with my oldest. Okay. And I couldn't find anything that did that fit that bill. And then eventually, after a lot of research, I found Tinker Garden.
Really?
And I went, wait, no, this is kind of exactly what I want, right? So we're outside. So even if it's hard to get out sometimes for whatever reason, it was this built-in, we're going to play outside. We're going to put everything else away. It's just going to be the 2 of us outside playing and having fun. We're going to get to meet other people. We're going to get to, so they were reading stories, they were singing songs, they were playing in different ways. And every week, it was similar activities in that it was outside, but it was also,
My son is tearing up the set.
He's tearing things up. It's fine.
We need Tinker Garden now.
We need a Tinker Garden, kid.
So the kids are on fall break right now, just so everybody knows. And this is when Tenina is free. So this is totally fun.
I love it. But you know what? Like, this is my life. This is what I do. So
thank you, Dan, for adding props to the set.
You're making it look more exciting.
We need some Tinker Garden in the winter. Let's develop that right now.
You know what? It is something that I keep considering. How can I do this in a way where we're not going to get stuck in snowbanks?
But you also need a break. So tell me about how you take a break then. So crafting is one way.
Yeah.
Dancing is a pursued interest that you've had for years.
Yeah.
Is there something you do that gets you to reset? Like, is there something you find that helps you kind of reset, relax? Is it family things? Like, what is it that you're pursuing that gives you that?
I mean, it just depends on the day.
Because you're a busy person.
I am going nonstop.
Yeah.
Dance, honestly, is a big one for me. That's Thursday nights. I know I'm going to go to dance class, and it's going to be just my chance to just be me without anything else happening. I'm just out there. I'm dancing. I've got a lot of friends. Yeah, I've got a lot of friends there now. So cool. It's me and my friends, and we're dancing and probably goofing off a little, and it's a good time. So I have that. Just spending time with my family, though. Mm-hmm. I mean, that really is that's my favorite thing.
You guys will go like on a trip together or something.
Yeah, so we'll do little trips, or even just we've been so excited for fall break, and we were making all these plans. We're gonna go here and do this and that and the next thing. And literally
now you're on a podcast.
Now I'm podcasting instead, still talking about Alpine Junior Explorers because that's all that's on the mind these days. But we're literally at home. I went out last night after class, right? I went on the way home from my dance class. I grabbed some snacks, and we said, we know it's going to be a snowy day. It's going to be all this stuff. It's a good day for Harry Potter. Oh. So we're going to go home. We're going to have a movie night set up in the living room and have some snacks and watch Harry Potter and just hang out together as a family.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So movies are a big part of the family.
I don't even know that it's necessarily movies. Just finding different ways to spend time together. Okay. We'll do the same thing. We'll do it with the game night, right? And just snacks and pull out a couple games and play games or family walks. We love to go for family walks.
Just around the neighborhood.
Just around the neighborhood. Okay. Our family walks they've changed dramatically, right? It used to just be that we would go for a walk. We'd go get a mile in or whatever as a
20
family.
20 feet sometimes.
Now it's, we get down the street, we're talking to these neighbors, it's a great time. We get to the next neighbors, we talk to them, it's a great time.
Yeah.
And yesterday, we tried to do a family walk. And by the time we got home, I was the same person as when I'd left, but my kids each had a piece of pizza that somebody had given them, candy that people had given them. My daughter ended up with a honey bun.
Really?
Yeah. We just stop at neighbors' houses. It's like trick-or-treating. Accidental trick-or-treating. I don't know.
Well, you guys' street has so many kids and so many families. It's great. Yeah.
No, it's an awesome street. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's fun because Suncrest has this blend of younger families coming in from out of state.
Yeah.
And then people who've been here forever.
Yeah.
And I love meeting both.
Yeah.
Because they had their families here. They're still here. It's like their home base, but they've all moved out and they come visit their parents.
Yeah.
And we'd love to have some of them on the podcast if they were not too shy. But the out-of-state people are bringing their families to Utah.
Yeah.
So Utah is a specific place, and you found your home how? Because you're not from here. On accident.
Fully on accident.
On accident. You tripped you slipped on a banana peel, fell down. Oh, look at that.
Fell up the mountain.
Slipped up the mountain.
There we were. Julian literally since the day I met him. So we have been together for 16 years.
You and Julian, your husband.
Yeah. My husband. Yeah. We've been together for 16 years. And I mean, since day one, he's been talking about leaving. And
leaving
California.
Because he's from there as well.
Because he's from there as well. He was born and raised California. Mm-hmm. And I mean, since day one, it was like, I got to get out. This is not the place for me. I got to get out of here.
What did you think of that? You were like, why? Why get out? This is the place I live. I'm from here.
I mean, I'm going, my friends and family are here. The beach is here.
Yeah.
Disneyland is here.
Yeah. Well, it's more.
Where are you trying to go?
There's no winter.
There's no, There's no snow.
You wake up, it's the same day every day.
It's 75 degrees. We can still go to the beach. It's fine. Why would we want to leave that?
Yeah.
But he just, I mean, it's been a constant for him. And I was always just adamantly against it. I'm not even necessarily, I love the beach. There are some things about California that I love, but it honestly had less to do with California and more to do with, I had amazing friends, my family lived there, I'm not leaving them. And so I was adamantly against it for the longest time, and I had an aunt and uncle who lived up here. And they said...
In Utah? Or
in Utah, not Suncrest. They lived actually in Park City. And there was one point where they were like, man, we keep asking you guys to come visit, and you've never come to visit. This day, we want you here. Come visit us. Yeah. We said, all right, let's do it. So we came out to visit and hung out, and it was a great time. And Julian absolutely fell in love with Utah.
Had he been here? But he's been here before. You'd been here before. I mean,
so we'd been here before. Yeah. I had been here before. I think he had too, but probably more just driving through. I went to BYU Idaho, so we would drive.
And your mom went to BYU Provo.
She went to BYU Provo.
Okay.
So I mean, we had been through Utah. We had seen Utah, but we hadn't really just stayed and hung out in Utah for an extended period. Right.
Yeah.
We hadn't even really fully vacationed it. Like it had been kind of more just a pass through.
An I-15 type of thing.
An I-15 type of thing, maybe a day
Maverick
here
stop?
or there, a Maverick stop, right? Like a day at BYU just to check it out.
Yeah.
But so then we came and we stayed and we vacationed, we checked things out, and he was like, whoa, that place it's amazing. It's beautiful. The people are just phenomenal. There's so many good things about Utah. And all of a sudden it was like every time we were vacationing, we were coming to Utah because that was just the spot
Where
he
would you
wanted
vacation
to go.
Utah? Where would you go?
So we did Park City. We stayed in Sandy once, just stayed there for 2 weeks and did all the things, right?
In Sandy?
We literally stayed in Sandy.
What do you do in Sandy?
You just are kind of central, right? So we did Thanksgiving Point. We did the aquarium. We did a bunch of different hikes. We went to the zoo.
Okay.
Right? Like all the things that you can kind of do.
The things you do in Suncrest, but you were staying in Sandy.
But we were staying in Sandy, right?
Okay,
Same life, just different spot. And when we did that, he was like, I want to live here. This is it.
That was the moment.
I want to live in Utah. And I was
And
like,
he was,
that's funny.
he's Air
but
Force,
no.
right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
yeah.
So he was like, yeah, let's do this. And I was kind of like, no thanks. Hard pass.
Was
But
he Air Force at
keep
that
talking about
time
it.
though, or was he working
Yeah.
something else?
No, he was still military at that point.
Okay.
But he also, right, so he was also doing reserves.
Yeah.
So he was working for LGI Homes at that point. So he's a home builder. And just kind of
Yeah, he's a genius at home stuff.
he's a genius at anything that requires building. And that was when he was like, let's do this. I want to move. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to move. So no thanks. And then every time we came up, I mean, he had the kids were in on it. They wanted to move out here. It was just me that was kind of.
He was the one pushing this then.
Yeah, I was dragging my feet. Julian was all in.
Really?
The kids were all in. Brody was all in.
Yeah.
I remember driving up on vacation again to Utah. And as we were driving through, they were like, Tenina, look. They have Target in Utah, and they have Starbucks in Utah. You'll be fine. Then we saw a Hobby Lobby sign, right? We're still on I-15, and it's like, Target, Starbucks, Hobby Lobby?
The mirage.
You're fine, Tenina. You can live here.
You can still do this.
You can do this.
With snow.
With snow.
Yeah.
And so we started coming up and looking at different neighborhoods and different towns and trying to figure stuff out. And listen, if you ever want to know which spots in Utah get the least amount of snow, hit me up because I've done a lot of research.
What's the spot the least amount that you would?
So Eagle Mountain was one that got hardly any snow.
Okay.
Lehigh is actually lower on the list of like how much snow.
So you were shopping based on snowfall.
Yeah, I said if we do this, it's fine. But I have my rules. Sandy was out. Too much snow in Sandy.
Too much.
They got too much snow, like average yearly. So that wasn't even a question. Draper, not even a question. But then we talked about that within Draper, there are different levels. Did you know that there's lower parts of Draper and then there's parts of Draper that are apparently higher?
Yeah, there's the elevation signs that are stuck in the ground. Like, look how high we are.
There's this thing, yeah. And so I finally said we could probably do something in Draper as long as it's really low elevation.
Okay.
And so this was kind of the big discussion. And actually, ultimately, we ended up on Cedar Hills. We came out here we settled on Cedar Hills the last time we came up. We went around, we saw Cedar Hills, and we kind of were like, this place is great.
Yeah.
We've got the mountain still right here.
It is a nice place.
It's beautiful. It's a nice place.
Yeah.
Still get that mountain feel without as much snow. I was okay with it. He was okay with it. And we went back home, and my aunt texted me and said, hey, did you find a place? And we weren't home searching yet, right?
The Park City aunt.
The Park City aunt, yeah. And it wasn't, did you find a home? It was, did you find a town, something that...
An area
that you like.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're pretty set on Cedar Hills. But I said that, and I thought, man, I should check Draper one more time because we really like Draper.
Yeah.
And we know nothing, right? We don't know stereotypes. The Draper mom, I had no clue what that was. We knew nothing other than... We like the houses and the area seems kind of cool and there's some nice amenities and that's what we were looking at. So I said I should check Draper one more time. So I checked Draper one more time. We found the house up here and I sent it to Julian and was like, hey, this seems like actually a good house for rent.
Did you walk through the house? He mentioned like when you bought it.
Bought it sight unseen.
There's an image of the house.
We like Zillow.
What?
We went through Zillow pictures, sure, that seems like it fits our needs. It's the right size. It's got the right number of bedrooms, right? It fits what we kind of need.
Yeah, but the
right price range.
the German engineering research side of you seems like that's everything against what you would do before buying something.
I think that there comes a point though of German engineering researching for so long
that you give up?
that you're just tired.
It's good enough.
You're just tired. The house seemed fine. It had the Draper thing, and I was like, it's probably gonna be fine.
But the snow.
Well, because in my mind, I didn't realize yet that Suncrest was a thing, and actually Suncrest itself was a huge perk. We were looking at the HOA and comparing it to our HOA. So we lived in an HOA in California.
Okay.
We were paying $150 a month. It was a gated community. And so our $150 a month went to fixing the gate because that was broken every other day. And to like this green grassy area kind of in the middle. It's called Juliana's Garden. And so that was the green area. It was the garden,
Sorry,
I guess.
This is crazy right now.
We've got Tinker Garden happening.
Can you go over there, please? Do it in your room real quick. Jeez. People are like, I can't watch this.
There's too many children.
What are kids?
It couldn't not
it's like
be
the
a more
Chitty Bang
appropriate
Bang, in the city where like, no kids are
No
allowed
kids
in
are
this
allowed.
city.
It could not be a more appropriate podcast for me to be on, actually. I'm like, that's what I do. I hang out with children. People are like, what are you good at? And I'm like, hanging out with kids. I don't know.
This is what I do.
This is what I do.
Yeah.
I have an entire business based off of hanging out with kids. It's my life.
They're all state. They're all planted in to make it seem more authentic. They aren't even my kids.
They're not even yours. These are my Alpine Junior Explorers. We
but the snow became less a concern, which...
No, it was still fully a concern, actually. It was fully a concern for me. And but at the same time, we found the house that just felt like this is the house. We did a lot of consideration, a lot of thought, a lot went into it, and we just went, this feels like it's the right spot. Everything else aside, we think that this is the right choice for us. This is what we got to do. This is where we're supposed to be.
So you just kind of knew without seeing the neighborhood even at that point.
Yeah, we hadn't seen. Wow. We saw the HOA. We were like, hey, there's a lot of perks. This seems like a great HOA. The house seemed like it was the right house, and it just kind of from there snowballed, I guess. And then the snow kept coming.
So let's fast forward to you finished your first year.
Yeah.
Well, your first year here. So you moved, right?
Yeah.
You moved.
So we moved in January.
Okay, so you moved in January. You've never lived in Utah. You settle in. What's your first thought getting the last box out of the moving van?
It's snowing and the snow won't stop. And I didn't want to live somewhere where the snow didn't stop.
So were you having a panic?
Oh, fully. Our first night we got 18 inches of snow, right? So this was 2023. This was the big Snowmageddon, snow crazy year.
This was the one where it was
This
crushing.
was the one where there were snowbanks. I mean, my kid lives like his bedroom is on the second floor, right? And he's walking out just onto the snowbank because it's.
Oh, jeez.
And this was the big year. And so that first night, the snowbanks were still kind of reasonable-ish when we got there. I mean, we're driving up the mountain and I'm going. Did you notice that there was no snow? And now there's snow, and the snow is the snowbanks are growing. They're getting taller.
And did Julian react? Was Julian saying anything?
So we came up separate. Yeah, no, so I was panic attacking with my kids and my dogs and my best friend in the car. I was panic attacking with them, and Julian, he drove the truck up he drove like a big box truck up with all our stuff. And
wow. So you both get in the house, and the first thing you say to Julian is...
I got there, and I was like, there's a lot of snow. And he got up there before we did, and he had some buddies that were here helping him out and just kind of helping with unloading everything. And one of those buddies was from Utah. He lived in Utah, and he said, I don't think I'll ever forget it. He was like, I've never seen snow like this in Utah. And I went, what have you done? What have we done?
So you brought this curse upon the land.
What's happened with me? It was my fault. It was hazing.
Nate, Dan, hold on. Can you guys stop doing that, please? Nate, that's probably the loudest thing you could do right now.
Can you guys build me a cool haunted, a spooky house out of those?
Nate, can you spend, it's 5 more minutes, Nate, okay?
Can you build me a spooky house? Build me a spooky house.
Kelsey had a hair appointment, so that's...
It's all right. He's going to build me a spooky house. We're good.
We're gonna see it. Yeah, Tinkergarten Winter Edition. Here,
Tinkergarten Winter Edition. This is how it goes. You
Yeah.
just redirect the attention.
So you get in the house.
Yeah.
You've had your panic attack driving up the mountain.
Had a slight panic attack driving up the mountain. We're unpacking. Listen, before we moved here, and I started to realize what Suncrest was and that it was on the top of a mountain. And I don't know who it made. Maybe it was you, Jordan. I don't know. Somebody had done this video montage of like throughout snow every day, like a same picture in this one spot every single day over the course of a year.
I think it might have been someone like Dan Lucas.
Maybe, I don't know.
Dan Lucas, we'd love to have you on. I've asked.
If this was you,
Yeah.
I want you to know that the person who watched your videos 1,000 times December of 2022 was me.
Nate, can you stop that, please?
But I watched and I analyzed. I was analyzing. Okay, how many? This was 1, 2, 3, 4 days of snow, 5 days of snow in a row. Wait, there. Whoop, knocking my glasses off. This was panic,
You were so
Jordan.
panicked.
Panic.
She's panicking now.
Panicking thinking about it. So I was just stressing about the snow in general. I've got a lot of medical issues, and the cold and the wet weather affects that. And so that was a huge part of why I was stressing so hard about it, was because I'm going, medically, can I handle it? I don't know.
Yeah.
And then that first night we got 18 inches of snow, and I remember laying awake, looking out the window, just watching the snow pile up, torturing myself, going, it's not stopping, it's not stopping.
Yeah, there was. I made a video. That was the first time I made a video about the snow, because I was like, this is not normal.
It was crazy, yeah.
Yeah. So, hey Dan, come here.
Nate, can you build me a spooky house?
Can you get off his bike, please? Thank you. This is the loudest they've ever been. So here we go.
It's because it's me.
They're comfortable with
They
you.
know me. It's fine. It's a safety thing.
They're like falling off stuff.
So
I
it's
can't
fine.
focus. I'm a perfectionist, and I'm like,
I can't do this.
well, so you move in the house. The
Yeah.
snow keeps coming in. Your health.
Yeah.
You have health concerns.
Yeah.
You got through the winter.
We did it.
We met you guys at that point.
Yeah.
And we like all banded together and got through it.
Yeah.
So now, looking back,
Yeah.
are you able, like, where are you at now with that? Yeah.
I've resigned myself to it. No, I think there's something to just, for one, my family is so happy.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the most important thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said that since I've met my husband, he's been just always itching to move. I want to go somewhere else. I want to change. We got here, and within a week, he said, "This is it. This is home. I'm here." Like,
he's happy with this.
roots are happening. We're good. I don't need to leave. I'm super happy. My kids were just immediately fell in love with the snow, fell in love with the lifestyle. So happy. Brody's got like this little gang of buddies now, right? There's all these little 8-year-olds that live up here, and if you see a motorcycle gang come knocking on your door, that's probably mine. They're on Halloween, not like in general. On
It
Halloween.
could be in general.
For trick-or-treating, maybe in general, I don't know.
8-year-olds, I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But, so my family, they're so happy. And so for one, that helps, right?
Yeah.
If I'm stressing about something, it helps my personal happiness to know that they're happy. And if I'm stressing and I'm like, oh gosh, no, it's going to snow, but my kids are so excited about the snow, right? It kind of, that excitement is contagious. So I can kind of jump in on that. And you learn how to cope. You learn how to deal with it. And cope seems probably a little bit dramatic.
Well, I think coping is, initially coping.
Yeah.
Going from sunny California to 12 feet of snow.
To something completely brand new. So I think I've kind of come to terms with a lot of it, right? One of the good things was I do have a lot of medical issues, and it's actually prompted me to go back and say, okay, I got to figure this out. And it turned out all the medical issues I thought I do have, they're just vastly different from what I was told that they were. But I wouldn't know all of that.
Unless you had the snow.
Unless we weren't here and there wasn't a reason for me to be like, hey, I really got to dig into this again.
Like, it made you healthier, being more unhealthy.
Right? We're still working on that. We'll see. Hopefully. But I just think that
Makes sense,
right? So there's a lot of things that have happened because of it that are only good, right? So there's so many benefits that we've gotten through this.
Right.
And knowing that my kids get to experience all 4 seasons. I mean, that's so cool. Me getting to experience all 4 seasons. It's super cool. if I could have one Christmas where it snows on Christmas, right? That would be cool. Didn't do that last year.
It happened a few years ago, but I think you were still in California.
I went, I've been mad about the snow all year, and then it didn't snow on Christmas, and I'm still mad about the snow because it's not doing what I want.
Nature teasing Tenina.
That's exactly it. But, I think just generally I'm learning how to kind of cope with some of the things, and as long as I don't have to drive in it.
Yeah, driving is something.
I think that's the biggest reason now why I stress is like, what if I have to get my kid to school or sports or dance or an appointment or whatever.
Right.
So as long as I don't have to drive in it, I can do whatever it needs to do out there.
You can walk in it, yeah.
I can walk in it.
So full picture, being from California, moving to Utah, falling in love with where you live, sight unseen.
Yeah.
A lot of luck, but also
so much luck.
I think a lot of people want you to succeed, Tenina. So
Thank you.
I think people like that you care and that you have that attention to detail. And I would say that the things you're involved in, people tend to do well. And that's because you're enabling them. So we appreciate you.
Thank you. That's so nice. Oh, that was really sweet.
But we want to enable you too.
Thank
so
you.
that's why I wanted you to come on, because I feel like people need to meet the real Tenina.
Yeah.
And I think that they're meeting the real Tenina. So that's great to see. Yeah.
I'm a little, I'm a little all over the place. Got a little ADHD.
I think the kids were like
fun.
making me like, I don't know if this is going well. But we're about at time for like people want to see.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask, is there anything else you want to tell people who haven't come on yet? Would you want anybody else to come on? You don't have to name a name, but like to reassure them it's not a scary, dangerous thing to be on the podcast.
It's not scary.
That's hopefully
It's not scary. You're just sitting here talking to Jordan, and Jordan, you're so awesome.
Yeah.
We love your family.
Thank you.
It's a lot of fun. It's kind of fun to just talk about and get to know everybody, right? It's fun just getting to know different stories about people.
Yeah.
Whether it's my own husband, right? It was fun watching him and be like, hey, I never heard you say that. Are you sure? Or the Esplins. I love the Esplins. Are you kidding? And it was so much fun to just see them interact with each other, interact with you, and kind of get to know a little bit more about their story. So
and I grew up not as a military brat, but similar experience where you don't really have I didn't have a stationary place I could call home. And then whenever you have a place you really love, I want to fully embrace it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why I'm doing this, is because I want to be from here forever. Right?
Yeah.
And I feel like you feel the same way.
Yeah, we want to
feels the same way.
kind of immerse ourselves, just be part of be here, be part of the community, and really establish that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on, Tenina.
Thanks for having me.
And look forward to watching it back and seeing how crazy
full chaos. Not just the kids, me too. I mean, I knocked my own glasses off. There's for sure going to be a couple of shots in there where you can see me making
bleeding.
a weird
You're
face.
like,
I'm like, it's fine.
Well, thanks again. I don't know how to end these, so that's how I guess they're ending it. So
I love it. We'll sing a song. That's how we end Alpine Junior Explorers.
We'll do a jig. Yeah.
Do a jig, sing a song. Hey, at Alpine Junior Explorers, there's a goodbye song.
There is?
So you should just throw in your own goodbye song.
Play it out.
See you later.
All right, say bye, Nate. Say bye.
Bye.
She's getting her hair cut. All right, that's good.
Love it.
Thank you.
Nailed it.